after I had gotten done with my third operation with Iran CSG, I was then attending training for FPVs, trying to learn how to engineer as well as fly them. But as I mentioned in that footage, that was the last operation we could have done on the Casualty line. It was then deemed unfit for Mavic operators to operate there. It was too unsafe. So we had to move back about 1 kilometer and dig a new position. And while I was in the middle of this training, I was asked, hey, can I help out? Because my team leader had been out there for like a week straight. It's brutal work digging. All the memes, they're true. You have to dig your own positions, and I had to go out there for 2 days straight. So I put on my camis, got my vest all ready again, and I went out with them. The first day, I don't have on footage. So you're not going to see the bombardment that we had at 9 a.m. on the first day. When we were digging the position, start taking incoming, we have no roof over our head because we're digging a new position. We had to run into the forest. Yeah, you're not going to see the shrapnel flying through the trees, bringing down branches and leaves on us. You're not going to see that. But just know that that happened. This footage you're watching right now is the day after that. Pretty much we got to position, we're driven there, it's a lot quieter, you know, we're not on the line anymore, we're about 1 kilometer off of the front line. And it's about like June, July time frame, I want to say. It's not winter time like it is right now. It was very, very hot. I mean, you're gonna see us shirtless most of the time. I usually try and keep my helmet on. My team leader for the week straight, as well as most of the time that he was out there with me, had his plate carrier and everything on, including his rifle slung over his shoulder. All the Ukrainians would ask, why do you do that? Well, it would make sense later on in the day when we encountered a drone. A drone came from what seemed like could be friendly or Russian lines. And we need to point our rifle at it. So we both point our rifle at the drone, and it looks at us, and it turns around 180 and flies off. Just by scaring it away, it worked. But about 2 hours later, this is when I get this footage.
Yeah, you. It's the only shot I've ever fired in Ukraine at an enemy, dude. Oh, it. So what's a risky one?
Unfortunately, I didn't record anything on video. I didn't record me shooting down that drone. So we were all up there digging, didn't think much of it. And I was working on getting some of the logs up with some of the other Ukrainians that were helping us dig. And as we were bringing it up, there's a Mavic that came from the other direction and it was staring at us. You couldn't hear it, but you could see it in the sky, just looking at us, loitering about 150 meters out, 50 meters in the air, staring right at us. And it came from the Russian lines, and we didn't know if it was that other drone that was coming back for seconds. We didn't know what it was, but all the Ukrainians, who most of them didn't even have their rifles, were like, somebody shoot it, Vachoy, Vachoy, which means shoot. And I ran down to go and get my rifle down by the trees, which is where I took a break, and I was eating a snack, picked up my rifle, and I started shooting from underneath the trees at this Mavic. My team leader engaged it first, but he had a malfunction because he was too busy to fire his weapon at the range after adding a couple attachments, especially to his charging handle, so it didn't cycle properly. He had a malfunction. So it was my job, and I fired 4 shots, nice, well-placed shots. It felt instinctual. This is my first shot at an enemy, if you want to call it that, and it worked perfectly. The 4th shot hit a motor or an arm of it, and it spiraled down until it crashed into the trees. Everybody was cheering me. They're like, hey, nice shot, everything, and I don't know. I mean, it wasn't a special shot. Anybody who's been in the military and has done a range more than 100 meters, you can do it. But I think the Ukrainians, they don't have that much training a lot of times, and they were applauding me for that, which is cool. It was cool. You know, it was my first shot at an enemy, and I did it. Right after that, we didn't hear any artillery coming, any mortars, no more drones. Time to work again. And we worked about 5 minutes later.
Nice. Good go. Let's go. Yeah, look good for the camera. For the camera. Wow.
We had some aerial bombs fly not over us, but past us to Casualty City, some fabs and cabs.
Aerial bomb.
Big booms, loud missile as it's going past. We heard some cluster bombs. We heard all sorts of different things that you're going to hear in the front line.
Actually, I would like to see some let's say strategic plan for defense, and I'm not really can see this from Ukrainian part. they simply look for the Katsapa and start to hunt.
A lot of times we take a seat on top of the hill and we just be looking out at the battle space, looking at our old position a kilometer away, getting bombarded. There's nothing we can do and we're just watching it. And then we look to a little bit more to the right and there's a trench line, a Ukrainian trench line. We watch it get bombarded. Just sitting up there with no shirts on, just kind of looking, observing it. It was a very interesting time. Again, I didn't get everything on footage. My bad. Wasn't focusing on that. I was heat casing. By the second day, I mean, you see the guys working. I'm trying to look good for the camera. I'm not gonna lie. I'm trying to look good for the camera. The other guys were working like crazy. We had Jay, who had been working out there for a week. He was doing great. Never took any breaks, and kind of made us look bad. And then we had my team leader. He was working out there for, I think, a total of 2 weeks. This is in the middle of it. He didn't stop. He's the team leader. He's like, I'll be out there. And he didn't complain at all. And another thing about that drone that I shot down, a month later, Jay would actually go out there to go and try and find it. I was asking them, like, hey, if you think it's safe, might be worth it to get the SD card from that, see if we can find the location of the Russians. He and Artem thought so as well, and they went out to go and get it. But unfortunately, there was some ID or a mortar or drone drop. We're not sure exactly what. But Jay took a bunch of shrapnel to his helmet as he was on his way to that drone, about 50 meters away from the position.
Dude, that hurt.
And they had called me up and they said, he's sick. Because they didn't want to worry me or Alex, but they said, hey, he's sick. He's got to get off the line today. Alex picked him up, took him to the hospital, and he was out of it. He took 3 pieces of shrapnel to his cranium. Good thing he had a helmet, but that didn't stop him. He's still out there doing great work. But yeah, this is the footage. Just want to share it to you guys. It's not the most insane stuff. It's not crazy combat footage, but there's some stuff that happened, and kind of the stories, even though it's not on footage, hopefully make up for it. Thanks for all the support, really appreciate it. Our guys are still out there doing amazing work, and myself making these videos, I'm trying to highlight what our team does and how we work in a Ukrainian team, and we do our best to incorporate ourselves in the hard work ethic that everybody has out there. So hey, their PayPal will be in the description if you want to go and donate to them. They're buying camouflage, they're buying all sorts of stuff, drone supplies every day. So thank you for all the support, really appreciate it. Peace.